Hey guys, welcome to RC Video Reviews. This is new, right? I mean, kind of new. As you know, if you follow the channel, I recently got a OMP M2 V2 helicopter and I've been practicing. And I got this one as my, one of the ones that's for later. Now, if you watch the video I just posted, Monkey Flies RC Helicopter, you know that, I'm nowhere near skilled enough to be able to do this. But I can put it together and I can maiden it and I could probably tool around a little bit and I'm going to do that. But, it'll take me some time before I get this thing out and start flying it. But I saw it, I liked it, I wanted it, and I kind of wanted to see what all the hubbub was about with SAB helicopters because evidently these are top shelf aircraft. So I decided I want to get one and try it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into all of this. I've got a bunch of stuff laid out for you. We're going to talk about all the hardware, all the electronics. We're going to cover every bit of it. But we're also going to go into some specs too. And the reason I want to do this is because we have a very good helicopter contingent on the channel, and I just want to do some justice to the helicopter footage that I'm starting to put together. So we're going to do that. We're going to get into the specs first. And after the specs, then we'll talk a little bit about what's in the box. We'll open this up. And I've already done some of the pre-work, so you don't have to listen to a bunch there. But anyway, let me say hello to guys first. We got Pylon out there. How you doing, Owen? Good to see you. Troy Diggers is here, so the party can get started. 1974 Dragon Killer, ready to see the SAB. I've been curious about that. Me too. I hear a lot about it. Matt Bren's out there, Freddie's out there, and Gary T. How you doing, Gary? Glad you can make it. Okay, let's jump over and take a look at the blackboard first. So we're going to take a look at the blackboard, and I've got a sheet up with some specifications. So first off, the Goblin Buddy. This is not a brand new airframe, but it's a really nice airframe, and it's out of stock in a lot of places, including HeliDirect in the US. But I found out today, I saw it today, it's back in stock at SAB. So I don't know where they ship from, but SAB, they have it in stock. Robert, how you doing, buddy? JDM Dino Systems, I knew you'd be here for this one. And Bill, how's it going? K. Anthony, good evening. How are you? So it's back in stock at SAB if you're interested in this one, but the kit pretty much universally goes for about $398. The US money, that's what I've seen pretty much all over the place. It's about $398. So keep in mind, this is just a kit. There's nothing other than the airframe and the blades. You do get the blades, but nothing electric, nothing with power. So on the specs, the main rotor diameter, it's 856 millimeters with a 380 millimeter blade length. That's why they call it a Goblin 380. I don't know, Freddie, I think Freddie says we get to round up. So I think this is considered a 400 class. I think that's the idea. The tail rotor diameter on this one is 196 millimeters. It's got a tail blade length of 70 millimeters, a shaft diameter of 8, a tail shaft diameter of 5. The dry weight on this one without batteries is 1,075 grams. And I weighed the batteries I'm using, and I think they were, what were they, 290 grams, so another 1365 all up with the batteries. So that's what we're looking at for an all up weight. And looks like I got some. I'm gonna hide the chat for just a second. We take a look at the electrics. I've chosen, we'll cover all this material in just a minute, but I've chosen an Icon 2 fly barless. That was $165. I got a Platinum Pro ESC, a 60 amp ESC for $60. I'm using KST D565X mini servo for the tail. Just one of those at $65. And I'm using the KST 215s for the collective pitch, the pitch and the aileron servos. And then I'm using an Xnova 2820 890 kV. It's a 10-pole motor. That was $100 for that. We'll talk about that a little bit. I did go with a 2-pack of batteries because I didn't have this size. So I got a 2-pack of HRBs on Amazon. I'll put links in the description for this. These are 6-cell batteries, 50C. I got a pair of those for $60. And then regarding the receiver, I haven't chosen yet. I want to play with the Icon Fly Barless unit before I land on the receiver, but I've got S-Bus and I've got DSM. I've got both. So I can do either one. And don't say Spectrum. It's not Spectrum, but it is DSM. So anyway, let's see. I want to see who's joined. I read something about, I read about rounding up earlier. Yeah, Robert. Yeah, I guess that's the deal on these fly barless. You get to round up a little bit. Freddie said a 380 is an overweight 450. Okay. Lol, lol, lol. Hi, Bill. Hey, Bill's here. William Cox made it live. How you doing, Bill? Good to see you. Okay, so that's it on the electronics. Let's, I want to go ahead and do one other thing real quick. We're going to switch back over to the desktop. And as I switch to the desktop, I want to start bringing some of the electrics in first. We're gonna go through the electrics first because I want to get them out of the way, and I want to talk a little bit about these things. So the first thing out of the gate is the ESC, and I'm using this. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I wanted to put the specs on the motor up. Hold on, just a second. There it is. I got it. There it is. Pow! I got it. So the specs on the motor. We spent some time one night sitting up looking at this motor and the specifications, and I kind of choked. $100 on a motor. I mean, to me, that's pretty spendy. So I started looking, and of course, you know, I found a Sunny Sky V3 that had basically the same specs. So we did some work in eCalc. There were a bunch of us looking at it that night on Discord. We did some work in eCalc, and the Sunny Sky looked like it would have made the numbers, but the problem was it wasn't available. It wasn't available. And then I went out and looked at a lot of 380 setups, including for the Goblin. And I got to tell you, this X-Nova motor was in use everywhere. Everybody had this X-Nova motor. It was all over the place. But in terms of power, max continuous on this little 2820, and that is a small motor, is 1,000 watts with a max continuous current of 48 amps. But the bottom line is, when I started looking at the specs online and I started looking at the comments about the various 380 setups that are out there, man, everybody went with this X-Nova. I mean, everybody went with the X-Nova. So no complaints. I didn't hear anything in the material that I read that said, oh, that motor's terrible, it doesn't work. Pretty much everybody stood by it. So yeah, as Robert says, bulletproof motor, right? And that's kind of the impression I got as well, looking at what I read out there and what I saw on the spec sheet and what I saw on eCalc. So I decided to go with what's known to work. So there are the specs in case you want those. You can do a screen grab, and let's get into it. So let's start looking at the stuff. I want to start with the ESC and the motor first. Now, again, I told you I did a little pre-work. I hate doing unwrapping things, but I did want to give you guys a quick look at the motor, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. If I can reach, there we go. There we got it. I wanted to zoom in a little bit so you guys could get a good look at it. I can tell you, looking at the motor, it is good quality. I mean, it's heavy. It's got the plate on the back that helps guide air into the motor for a helicopter configuration on the side like that. It's the right shaft length because according to X-Nova, I guess this was made specifically for the Goblin 380. And anyway, motor wires come out the front. You can't see too much in terms of the windings. I looked in there, but I can tell you the windings compared to like fixed wing, they're pretty heavy. That's pretty thick wire. If you can see that in there, it's very thick. But all I can say in terms of the quality is the motor feels good. I'm not going to put this on the stand because I don't have the ability to put a prop on it big enough to create the load and the thrust that's required for this particular setup. I just don't have that type of test stand. So we're going to have to go with what the specs and what the community say in general, being the thing, right? The point of view. All right, regarding the ESC, I went with the Hobby Wing. And by the way, I'm going to tell you guys, I didn't pick this stuff. I sat up with Freddie, and Freddie and I looked over the parts list, and Freddie helped me make my choices. And Heli Direct, I'm going to give some props to Heli Direct because they've got a nice selection process, you know. And if you pick the aircraft, they have the drop downs that will let you pick the servos that you'll need, the motors you see, and they do give you some choices, but they are focused on helicopter oriented parts. So if you're used to fixed wing pricing, it might feel like you're choking on a little bit of a pill, just fair warning. But you know, these things are, as you can tell by the price list, they're not cheap. And so this is one of those areas where even on fixed wing, I wouldn't be going with economy choices. I would be going with the hardware that I knew and trusted the most. So the Platinum, Hobby Wing Platinum, that has a pretty good following out there, and a 60 amp. I know Hobby Wing, I've used them for quite a long time, and I think this one will be just fine. So that's kind of, I'm not going to say purpose built for this helicopter, but it does have a lot of helicopter configuration options in it which, by the way, you get to with this little gem. So I did get a Hobbywing programming card. The main reason for that is because this gives you the ability to change your governor mode and a couple of other settings that might be interesting to you if you're flying a helicopter. So I went ahead and got this as well. I got that on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description in case you want one. So there we go. There's the motor in the ESC. Unfortunately, again, you guys know I'm new to this, right? I don't have a lot of experience with this equipment. I don't know this motor, but I'm going to find out. And I can tell you that based on the reading, again, man, the community, the helicopter community, they trust that motor. So I did it based on that and Freddie. Freddie's he's my sounding board as I start spooling up and getting educated on the equipment required for helicopters. So the Icon, this is the fly barless unit. If you've never flown a helicopter, you might be out there going, I've heard fly barless, and I'm like, what the hell? What is fly barless? And if you don't know, you can either have a fly bar, which is like a counterweight, and there's no computer control or mixer. That's called a fly bar arrangement, or you can go fly barless, which doesn't have that counter bar up top, and you can get one of these little devices, and that'll handle things like your head speed and your cyclic and your collective pitch mixing and all the other things that go on under the cover, including integration with your radio. So this is a fly barless unit. For those of you who are into quads or fixed wing, you might call it a flight computer because that's basically what it is. Fly barless. I'm not sure yet if it's more elaborate than a standard flight computer, but it does do mixing and it does have some configuration options. I've taken a quick look at the software, but when it comes to the fly barless units, these Icons have a pretty good name and a reputation out there. Again, you guys have seen Freddie fly. This is what he recommended, so I took his word for it. So that's the Icon 2. And finally, we're down to the servos for the electrics. And I got to tell you, man, the servos, they're kind of impressive. I'm gonna see if I can pull this. Let's see if I can do this quickly without making a mess of things. But I want to pull this one out because these KST servos, they're nice. And I've looked at the specs. These things will support up to 7.4 volts according to the specs. And these are metal case servos. So this is the tail rotor servo. This is the 556, right? DS 565, I'm sorry. That S looked like a 5 to me. So DS 565S, that's for the tail. You only need one of those. And then for the cyclic collective pitch, you need 3 up front. And these are spread 120 degrees apart. So again, I went with the KSTs. Again, based on a recommendation from Freddie. I'm sure there are probably options out there, but according to Freddie and according to the other reading that I've done out there, checking in the forums with other people who've done 380 setups, these are a pretty popular choice for this particular helicopter. So KST servos up front. And I can tell you that when you read the spec sheet for these, they look pretty solid. I can tell you that. All right, let me clear the desk off. And while I do that, I want to make room for the main attraction, and I'm going to see if there are any questions or comments. So let's just take a look here and see who's joined. I got Bill Owens out there. Four Eyes, how you doing, buddy? Glad you can make it. Philip Jang from Australia made it. Nice. How you doing? Yeah, Robert. This was Freddie's. Yeah, Freddie. I think he used a lot of similar equipment in his last build too. So you know, he gives it the seal of approval. I'm going to believe him because he knows he spends a lot of time in the space. And if you guys spend any time at all on the channel, you know that. All right, let's see who else is out there. Owen's still out there. Steve-O joined us, 43068. How you doing, Steve-O? Ooh, all nice and shiny new bits. That motor looks well. Yeah, it is. And none of this, I can tell you guys right now, none of this stuff was a budget option. Nothing going on this helicopter was a value play. Let's leave it at that. Okay, so I've got the desk cleared up. I wanted to give you guys a look at this, and I'm going to have to back this out because I want you guys to be able to see the big parts that are all coming in. So I'm going to back the camera out just a little bit, and I want you to take a look at the manual. I've kind of given the manual a scan, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is like next level stuff. If you're used to the fixed wing manuals that we get out there, this is basically bringing it to a whole new level. I have to give SAB credit. Not only is the manual clear and well written, and they break everything out based on parts. They give you the bags, the bag numbers, the box number that it comes in, and they show you exploded diagrams, where to apply Loctite. It's very thorough, and the illustrations are excellent. They spared no expense on this manual. That's all I can say. They spared no expense on this thing. It is really hands down the best field manual or the best assembly manual for any aircraft I've ever seen. And you guys know I've flown a lot. Very detailed, but you know, we're talking about a more complex machine mechanically too, right? You guys know that. It's not as simple as a fixed wing, but I thought you'd get a kick out of taking it. I just wanted to give them credit for this manual because it's all there. They even give tips on cable routing. They show you where to put the zip ties, how everything comes together on the main rotor junction in between the fuselage halves. I mean, it's really well done. Motor mounting, measurements between the pinion gear and the bottom plate of the motor. And I'm probably using the wrong vernacular, I know that, but I'm not that familiar with helicopter structures yet, at least in the model space. Anyway, excellent manual. I have to give SAB top marks. I mean, for the manual, no question about it, man. It is top marks, 100%. The best manual I've ever seen in the hobby for anything. And that includes chargers, radios, you know, airframes, motors, it doesn't matter. I've never seen anything this thorough before. It is really excellent. So good job, SAB. Not that you need my approval, but holy smokes. Okay, the next thing I wanted to do is give you guys a look at the guest of honor. I'm going to hide the chat because I want everybody to get a good look at this because I want to show you how it's packed. And then what I'm going to do is take the boxes out offline and we'll open stuff up. I've already got a couple things ready to show you, but we'll just open this up and take a look. And it's kind of cool. This is a little bit of an experience. It's not quite like an iPhone experience if you're into that kind of thing, but it's kind of cool, man. They do a nice job. So you can see the label up top, SAB Heli Division, right there. Real cool. The boxes are all packed in here nice and sturdy. It did come in an exterior box, so very well protected. I didn't see anything concerning at all when I opened it up. And, you know, they really put some effort into the presentation. You got to give them credit for that, right? It's exciting. These aren't the things that you go out and buy. They're not consumables. This is not a consumable craft. Like, to me, a foamy is a consumable craft. This is not a consumable craft. So they put a little bit of effort recognizing that fact that you spent some money on this, and they gave you some presentation. So good on them, right? Good on them. I was impressed. The presentation to me was excellent. So I'm going to set this aside. There's just a couple boxes. I'm going to pull this off to the side, and we'll go through the boxes a little bit, and I'll show you guys what's going on inside. Okay, apologize for the little break, but it's better to go on mute and give you guys a break than to make you listen to all that racket. Okay, here's the tail boom. I'll tell you that the paint on this, again, next level. This is not this is not a cheap paint scheme. It's very, very well done. It's a flat orange, and all I can say is that I don't think the pictures do it justice. In fact, I want to do something to kind of help you guys out. I'm going to change the lighting in here to give it a 5000K light so you can get a real sense of what it would look like in the direct sunlight. So give me just 1 second. I'm going to change the light scheme in here so you can see the paint in 5K. Okay, there we go. I just wanted to give you guys some 5K lighting so you could get an idea and get the truest sense that I can give you on the color on this tail boom. So it's a matte orange, and it really is spectacular. There's no bleeding, no brush marks, no overspray, no runs, the whatever. I don't know if they put a cover on this. Maybe Robert can help us out. I'm not sure if they put a cover on this or not, any kind of clear or over, protection over the top. But whatever they do, it's kind of like a satin. It's kind of between matte and satin. I would say more matte than satin. It's a very matte color, that's for sure. It's really cool looking though. I don't know. I don't have any idea how they do this, but it's absolutely beautiful. No mistakes. I'm not seeing any mistakes. So again, you're paying, right? You're definitely paying the money, but you're getting like a pretty top shelf piece of equipment. Okay, I had to stop the glare because I know that's going to look terrible. But again, I just wanted to give you guys a look at what the natural light color would do to that color orange. Here are the blades. These are, again, I put these up. These are that's a 380 class helo, carbon fiber with SAB imprinted on the top, silk screen on the top. Freddie says he thinks it's hydro dip. That'd be cool. Or silk screen, maybe. I don't know, but I can tell you there aren't any mistakes. I can tell you that it's flawless. And where you really see stuff like that is in the fine details and the lettering. That's where I'd expect to see it. So I don't know how they did it, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. It looks cool. It definitely looks. It looks top shelf, right? That's all there is to it. It looks top shelf. Okay, so there are the blades. I want to give you guys a look at the hardware. This is if you know me in the channel, you know that I always I always make a reference to the hardware bag, right? I like, if the hardware bag is small, your assembly time will be short. If the hardware bag is huge, it's a little bit more. And I can tell you right now for a fact that the every time I've said that in a video, I can guarantee you after seeing what I've seen in this box, that the Helo guys or the Heli guys all just roll their eyes like you have no idea. So watch this. I opened this up and I was like, okay, that's a lot of parts. That's a lot of parts. I've built a lot of stuff, man. I've built a lot of stuff, but I've never seen a parts box like this before, ever. So battery tray and all the bags, see, all the bags are numbered. They've got bag 15, B380 through 15. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure the instructions will point it out. But again, this is not, it's not done cheaply. Everything that you see here takes time. I'm not sure, labor cost wise, what's going on here, but I don't imagine this is computerized, and I'll tell you why. Because if this were done by a computer, that label would be over the same red stripe as that label and the same red stripe as that label, probably. That's my guess. So I think there's hands involved in this, to be honest. So anyway, this is a massive, I'm not going to go through all this. I'm simply not going to go through all this stuff. I'll give you guys a look at what's going on. And when we do the build review, and there will be a build review, and for all you guys who like to bust chops and say, that's not a build, that's an assembly, this is going to be called a build review. Okay. So we're going to do a build review on this one for sure. But I can tell you, they're just bag after bag after bag, but it's all very well put together, very neatly organized. All the parts and labels all the labels are clearly visible, and it just looks excellent. So I guess here's the head unit, and I know some of you guys will be curious about seeing that, but again, very nice looking piece of metal and machining work done there. So again, we'll get into that when I do the build review. But I thought for you fixed wing guys that might be watching, if you've never done this, like I've never done this. So I thought for you fixed wing guys, you might get a real chuckle out of looking at that hardware kit. I know I did. I was I was mildly amused when I pulled that out. Like, yeah, that's a lot of hardware, but I think it'll be fun. It occurs to me when I built, when I used to race on-road electric, I believe I had hardware kits that may have been close to that. Not that much, but may have been close. That is absolutely the biggest bag of hardware I've ever seen on an RC model. It's laughable. That's why I say perspective is everything, right? If your perspective has just been fixed wing all this time and never a helicopter, the helicopter guys are they have to be laughing every time I say, wow, that's a lot of hardware. They got to roll their eyes. Okay. here's a look at the tail rotor assembly. So I know the shaft goes through there, and this is the tail. Looks like the tail hook down at the bottom. So that's that part. Carbon fiber again. Bearings already pressed in. And Freddie told me earlier, I'm not sure what these are. I think he said they were side plates. What'd you call them, Freddie? The side of the fuselage? Help me out. I forgot. Or Owen or JDM or any of you guys that know these. This is the fuselage side, carbon fiber. It's pretty sturdy the way it comes, but I know when you start, bolting parts to this, it's going to definitely firm up a little bit, but very nicely done. As I rub my fingers around the edge, I don't feel any burrs or sharp edges. This is high quality stuff, man. Frames, side frames. There we go, side frames. So yeah, it's quality stuff. There's nothing done cheaply in this kit that I can see so far. All right, it's just beautiful. Really, really nice, really nice equipment, man. It's what did Freddie say? Oh, I love that new helicopter smell. So it really is beautiful. Here's the other side frame. I don't know if I can't tell by looking at them just yet if there's a difference. They look like they're identical to me, so I assume they are. They're probably identical. But how thick is that side frame, Robert? I don't know. I don't have my calipers in here. So I'm gonna say not much, man. It's maybe 1 to 2 millimeters, not much. Probably 2 millimeters. That'd be my guess. I'm not sure how thick it is, Robert. So anyway, there's a side frame. There's a tail hook. That all came in with the fuselage. And then, what do the French say? The pièce de la résistance. That's this one. The canopy. I'm going to turn the light back on and let you see the bright light, and then we'll turn it off again. But some landing skids, and they are plastic. They're not carbon fiber. And I think I talked to Freddie. He said that's actually a pretty good idea. 3 millimeters. I think the landing gear is plastic, and that's meant so it can flex and not, that's the point that you want to give up. If something's got to go, let it be the plastic landing gear, because they're easy to replace. And a couple of parts for the bottom. And then here we go with the canopy. Again, I unwrapped it earlier and looked at it, and it's absolutely beautiful. Canopy on this is really, all I can say is you got to give them credit. So that lighting actually doesn't look too bad to me. I'm trying to compare it against what I see on the monitor, and that is actually a reasonably good representation. So I'm running 5K over there, and I think that's giving us a pretty good representation without me blowing you guys out. So I think we'll go with that. If you need it brighter, let me know. I will make it brighter if you guys need it brighter. But I think that is a pretty accurate representation on color. And again, same deal. I've looked this thing over. I have my glasses on, and I'm looking, right. I'm looking for any errors in the lettering or the spacing. I'm looking for runs, bleeds, orange peel, chips, nothing. It's perfectly aligned right on the center of the nose. So if you look at it from the front, and I get picky about that kind of thing, but that's perfectly aligned. So again, this thing it's absolutely a beautiful canopy. I love the color scheme. Very aggressive looking, very modern looking. Very cool. Very cool. I can't wait to build this thing. I'm so anxious. I left, we're going to be building in Discord tonight, by the way. So if you want to join us on Discord and watch, feel free. It's going to be a pretty cool little session. I'm going to turn the camera on in Discord, and we're going to build. And I'm sure everyone will have a lot of fun, and we'll crack some jokes and wisecrack, but it's going to be one of those kind of shop night deals. So feel free to join us on Discord and take a look. I can tell you already that I can't finish it today because I went out looking for some material you need. You need bearing retaining compound, and I couldn't find it locally. So I have to order it and get it from Amazon. So I'll order that. And so that means I won't be able to finish it tonight. But I can tell you guys right now, just looking at this, I'm super glad I got this thing. I can't wait to get it put together and flown. And of course, we'll do video. And I'll make sure Freddie's along for the ride on this one. I don't think I will make this on my own. I'll ask Freddie to make sure he pops in and joins me. So let me go back and check the questions and see if there's any comments or anything I need to address for you guys real quickly before we wrap this up. But that's everything. That is the top to bottom first look on the SAB Goblin Buddy 380. And I'll tell you right now, fantastic looking airframe. I have a feeling I hope that I do well with this one. I'll get there. It'll be fun. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to scroll back to the last part. Robert said he thinks it could be silkscreen. Kay Annie says if it's hydro, it's damn well done. I agree, because there's not a flaw on the whole thing. So if it is hydro, I would give them mad props for that. So let's see. SAB will do a custom paint scheme if you're willing to wait. That's cool. That's cool. Good to know, Freddie. Thanks for sharing that. Kay Anthony says, wow, parts indeed. Yeah, I've never seen a parts bucket like that before. It's nuts. But hey, you know what? That'll be fun. You know, when you see it come together, it'll be cool. Let's see. RC says, hello all. Hello, John. This heli is a great flyer. Yeah, I'm sure of that. You know, Freddie, and I'll tell you guys, Freddie warned me. He goes, John, don't get the SAB. That you're too wet behind the ears, young buck, to fly that. So he warned me. But I don't intend on getting out there and being crazy with it either. You know, if I could just putt around a little bit, I'd have fun with that for now. While I'll cut my teeth on the M2 and some other stuff I have coming. So Pylon says I call them side panels, or Owen says I call them side panels. Robert asked about the thickness. We covered that. I saw that. RC says SAB is a good brand. Yeah, they definitely seem very well respected, man. This is definitely top shelf stuff. Probably 2 millimeters. 2 mil is common. JDM says looks good. Yeah, doesn't it? That's a beautiful looking canopy, man. I like it a lot. I would say to other helicopter manufacturers, pay attention to what they're doing, because some of them, you know, there's some decent color schemes out there and some decent designs, but man, just all I can say is pay attention to what these guys are doing, because that's hot with a W. That, in the South, we say that's hot. HAWT. So that's hot. That's with the W, hot. Yeah, no doubt. No gloss on the canopy. No, this is all flat black. All flat black. Not flat black. I'm sorry. It's flat paint, matte paint. It's definitely a flat scheme. There is no gloss on here anywhere. SAB has really stringent quality control. I believe it. I believe it. Based on what I've seen so far, it doesn't look like they allow things to leave the factory in poor nick, as our British friends would say. The decals are between the paint and the satin finish. Oh yeah, that's cool. That wouldn't surprise me, but you can feel a little bit of a rise, but man, is it slight. I mean, I'm not going to scratch it. I'm just not going to do it. But yeah, you can feel just a little bit. Let's see. No gloss on the canopy. Got that. Nope. Super matte decals. Okay. SAB really good. Yep. Got that. Yep. Freddie, you might want to clear coat it. Nah, I don't think so, Bill, because honestly, at this point, anything I did to it would just make it worse. You know, this is one of those deals where I'll just live with it, fly it, and hope I do well. And if I screw it up, then I'll replace it, because this one deserves that. I can tell you that just by looking. I mean, just on the parts list alone and the price of the kit, this one deserves to have the parts the right way. And like I said, Robert might be able to clear coat it and get away with it, but that's definitely not my bag of tea, I guess is the way to put it. No, it's not. So let's see. I love the orange. I do too, Bill. It's a very, very cool looking. And I can tell you guys that the orange and black are a nice contrast for flying. And there's even some white up top. Not that I think that should ever matter very much, but you do see some white highlights on the side too. So it's excellent. I know this will be a very contrasty color scheme. It's going to look good. I guarantee it. If it doesn't scratch, John, only a good crash, scratch it. You know, my father-in-law, when he buys a brand new truck, first thing he does is he puts a scratch in it. He says, there, now it's over and I don't have to worry about it. So, but he uses his truck for work, so he works. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. I don't see any other questions or anything else that I need to cover that I can think of. If there's nothing else from you guys, I think we can wrap that up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and I'm going to go get some dinner. And then after dinner, I'm going to get on Discord, and I'm going to crack that manual. We're going to start on step number 1. So if you guys are around, you can get cleaning and protection spray for flat paint. Yeah, I'm sure you can. JDM Dyno Systems. But like I said, at this point, anything I did to it would just make it worse. So I'm just going to live with it the way it is. That's all. So yeah, I'm gonna step away for a little bit, get some food, and then I'll be on Discord later. So if you guys want to see Monkey with a screwdriver on a helicopter, pop into Discord and hang out. I'll have the video going. I know there will be some guys in there helping me along, and it'll be a good time. We'll have some fun. So which flight controller did you use? That's an Icon 2. It's RC. I've got an Icon 2 for the fly barless. So that's what's going in there. So let me pop back over real quick for the Blackboard in case you came in late and didn't see it. There we go. There's a look at the electrics. I've got the Icon 2 fly barless. I'm using a Hobbywing Platinum Pro V4 60 amp, the KST servos for the tail and the collective pitch, the Xnova 2820, a couple of HRB 6S batteries, and I haven't decided on a receiver yet, but I've got a couple. So, yeah, I've got a couple. I'll play around with them. I'm going to see what they can do in terms of telemetry and compatibility. Robert's putting out the Discord link. Thanks for that, Robert. Appreciate that. If you haven't joined us on Discord yet, make sure you do. Pop in there and say hello, and we'll have some video running. It's like the workshop. We're going to do a workshop night tonight. So thanks for sharing that link, Robert. I appreciate it. And it looks like that's it on questions. So I think with that, we can wrap it up. I want to give a real quick shout out to my patrons and say thanks to you guys for supporting the channel, and invite you, if you like what you see here and you want to help me keep putting content like this together. And as you know, this stuff's not cheap. You know, this is not cheap to do. So if you like this kind of stuff and want to see more, you can help out by joining me on Patreon. I've got a tier for as little as $3 a month. You can join for as little as a cup of coffee a month, and that will help me keep doing this kind of thing. So the more patrons I get, the more stuff I can do. That's just the way it works. I contribute what I can, but you know, it is helpful when you guys share the load with me. So I want to give a special shout out to my patrons, say thanks to you guys for doing that. And that's all I've got for tonight. So yeah, hit the like button. That'd be great. Thanks, Robert, for the like whip. Four Eyes FPV also on it, and Bill Cox says great job, John. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate that. You're always very nice. Always like having you guys around. I know Bill's got a helicopter too, so I've seen it. I know he's got one. I know there's going to be some helicopter flying with the RCVR crew. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the first look on the SAB Goblin. That's all I've got for today. Take it easy.